Courtney Clenney, social media star, turns into murderer.
Now we are seeing just released video from the day. An OnlyFans model was questioned about the deadly stabbing of her boyfriend.
Domestic violence is something I and our entire Miami-Dade community has worked hard to end.
So shut up and let me slide, you dumb. Give me my phone.
You have your phone.
I asked you so many times that I don't know, and I apologize, but you hit me.
Shut the
They flew in from Texas, unfortunately learned of his death when a medical examiner contacted them requesting permission to donate the organs.
Baby, wake up. Get up. Please go. Please.
Set him up.
Get up right.
Understand the pain and the tragedy that domestic violence has always produced for the direct victims and for the indirect victims such as children.
This is Courtney Clenney, better known to her millions of fans as Courtney Taylor, the social media sensation living what appeared to be a dream life. Boasting over 2 million followers on Instagram, she had everything: fame, wealth, and a seemingly perfect relationship. However, behind the polished posts and glittering lifestyle lay a dark and unsettling truth. What was once a glamorous facade was about to unravel into one of the most startling crimes in recent social media history. On April 3rd, 2022, the tranquility of a luxury Miami apartment was shattered by a shocking act of violence that ended one man's life. Christian Obamseli, Courtney's boyfriend of 2 years, was brutally stabbed and killed.
3101. It's 130, so 130.
Ma'am, listen to me. You need to stop screaming on the line and give me the address.
3101.
I'm gonna die. I can't feel my arm.
3101.
I can't feel my arm.
Ma'am.
So my boyfriend is dying of a stab.
Ma'am, what is the address?
What's up? What's the address, baby?
31.
3131 Northeast 7th Ave. Please, God, please. Come see my boyfriend.
The brutal event unraveled the seemingly perfect world Courtney had built, leaving a trail of devastation and disbelief.
Do not move, sit down. We don't know what's going on. We don't know what happened.
I'm terrified
So
for him.
right now, don't worry. They're helping him. So just sit down. Don't move, okay?
What drove this Instagram model to allegedly take such a heinous act against her own partner? Was it a heated argument that spiraled out of control, or a twisted form of self-defense? Courtney Clenney was born on April 21st, 1996 in Texas to Deborah and Kim Clenney. She grew up in Texas with her sister, Morgan. Her father, a financial advisor with a degree in finance, provided the family with ample financial means. As children, Courtney and Morgan were reportedly spoiled and had their desires fulfilled. Their parents were active in sports, which influenced the daughters. By the time Courtney was in the 2nd grade of high school, she was involved in various physical activities, including football, gymnastics, volleyball, diving, and horseback riding. From the age of 13, Courtney developed an interest in theater, drama, and dance, taking classes in these areas. During high school, she became increasingly focused on exercise and physical fitness. This interest continued into adulthood, where she became a qualified personal trainer and won several weightlifting and fitness competitions. Realizing that traditional college wasn't the right fit, Courtney Clenney chose to drop out and focus on her aspirations in fitness and social media. Around this time, Courtney noticed her gym photos were gaining significant attention online. Several chance encounters further propelled her into the internet spotlight. On her YouTube channel, Courtney Taylor, she shared how she became an Instagram sensation through regular content posts, interviews, and a move to Los Angeles. She also mentioned collaborations with other models and features in Playboy. As her Instagram following grew, Courtney saw a new opportunity with the launch of OnlyFans in 2016. Leveraging her youth, confidence, and fitness, she decided to join the platform to gain more attention and revenue. Courtney's rising fame and income from social media opened up numerous opportunities, including sponsorships with established brands and interviews at places like Chive HQ. While her earnings before joining OnlyFans are unclear, Courtney made over $3 million on the platform within 3 years. In 2020, she earned more than $1 million, and in 2021, she brought in $1.8 million. Many would consider Courtney's life enviable, with fame, fortune, and a supportive family. In 2020, at the peak of her success, Courtney met Christian Obumseli, known as Toby. Born on April 12, 1994 in Dallas, Texas, Christian developed a passion for basketball and football at Murphy Middle School. By high school at Plano East Senior High, he was known for his athletic skills and friendly personality. His football coach described him as warm, caring, and hardworking, always smiling and eager to help younger players. In recent years, Christian was recognized for his compassion and gentlemanly demeanor marked by his infectious smile. Christian Obumseli was ambitious, focusing on making money through cryptocurrency and stocks. He began trading at a young age and showed a natural talent for it. When he met Courtney Clenney, he quickly fell in love, and the feelings seemed mutual. Within weeks, their relationship became intense and passionate. Initially, their friends saw them as a happy couple, enjoying each other's company and having fun. But over time, the relationship started to darken. Friends who knew Christian before meeting Courtney noticed troubling changes in him. He went from being bright and energetic to appearing stressed, preoccupied, and withdrawn. This change was driven by Courtney's increasingly controlling behavior. She became upset over minor issues and isolated Christian from his friends. Their arguments escalated, with Courtney often screaming at him, and physical violence eventually entered the relationship. What started with minor hits to Christian's chest and shoulders grew more severe. As Courtney's career flourished, Christian decided to become her personal assistant, which meant he was constantly traveling and attending to her needs. While Christian enjoyed the role, it also meant he was frequently exposed to Courtney's violent behavior. Courtney also faced other issues. Her frequent visits to bars and clubs in Austin led to increased alcohol consumption and dependency. Although this may have contributed to her outbursts, it did not excuse her actions. Courtney's lack of self-control was evident in 2 DUI charges against her. In July 2021, the police were called to the scene in Las Vegas after she threw a glass at Toby's head.
There's cameras all over that they are watching you, and you're going to come from here to jail.
We're going right to jail.
We're not taking any detours. Just watch your head, watch your step, make sure you buckle up for your own safety.
So there's no more than a 12-hour hold, right?
You'll get to see a judge and they'll walk you through the process, okay?
After her arrest, Courtney spent 12 hours in custody. Despite the severity of the incident, Christian chose not to press charges and pleaded for her release. During police questioning, Courtney even altered her story, claiming she had called the authorities herself to avoid further embarrassment.
We were going back and forth, like getting really loud. And I decided to call because we were getting really loud. It wasn't because I was scared or anything. You wouldn't hurt me.
The couple then decided to start anew. Christian was keen on moving to London, but Courtney preferred Miami, and she prevailed as usual. In January 2022, they relocated 1,100 miles from Austin to Miami. With Courtney's significant income, their new apartment was a testament to their success. They settled into Unit 2020-01 at 3131 NE 7th Avenue in Beverly Terrace, just a mile from downtown. Courtney frequently boasted about covering the rent for their luxurious Miami apartment, even threatening to kick Christian out if he upset her. After their move to Miami, her troubling behavior worsened. She became a familiar face at local clubs and bars, and her demeanor deteriorated. Courtney's outbursts included shouting at Christian, using derogatory and racial slurs, trashing their home and hotel rooms, and throwing his possessions off their apartment balcony.
Don't touch me!
What is going on? Like, are you gonna get this mad at me when I'm apologizing to you?
No, Christian.
Like, you're thinking I'm doing it on
purpose? Drop your high pitch.
Okay, I'm not doing it on purpose.
You touched Sahara. You know damn well the right thing to do is to tell me.
Yes, and I am so sorry.
So shut up and let me f***ing slap you, dumbass.
No, you're not gonna slap me.
Give me my phone.
You have your phone.
I don't have it anymore. Find it and f***ing charge it.
What?
Find it and charge it!
I'm sorry, Courtney.
I don't care. Find it and charge it.
Okay, just stop.
Don't touch me.
Man.
Yeah, man. Oh, man.
Because I'm telling you I'm sorry.
One particularly violent episode saw her destroying their Miami apartment and tossing all of Christian's clothes over the balcony. Despite recognizing that her behavior was unacceptable, Courtney would attempt to make amends by showering Christian with gifts. On one occasion, she apologized by buying him an entire wardrobe of Louis Vuitton luggage, though her gifts did little to address the underlying issues. Shortly after this, the couple was caught on elevator surveillance footage showing Courtney attacking Christian as he tried to push her away. Messages and recordings from Christian reveal his deep distress and devastation over his girlfriend's behavior. Despite the constant aggression, Christian continued to defend Courtney in front of others, including law enforcement. Over time, he documented his feelings in multiple letters and text messages. In one heartfelt letter addressed to Courtney, Christian wrote, "You are honestly the sweetest and most annoying woman I know, but I would never trade you for anything. I want to be everything to you. Your boyfriend, your best friend, your lifelong partner, the man you trust to put his life on the line for you. I do believe that dreams come true, and I would love for you to help me fulfill mine, baby. You are the recipe when I'm stuck in the toughest situations and the only person I want to share my life with." I remember walking on the trail in Austin, and I told you a poem that reminded me of you, which made me cry and love you so much that I asked you to come take a walk during the sunsets. In November 2021, one of Courtney's more severe outbursts led to her stabbing Christian in the leg. While she appeared remorseful and sympathetic the following day, this sentiment faded quickly. In a recovered text message, Christian expressed his pain. "The crazy thing about all of this is that yesterday, when you stabbed me in the leg, and you saw how bad it was hurting me, the next morning I still woke up happy. I still gave you a good day, even though my leg was hurting because my girlfriend stabbed me. I woke up happy, I took you to Vegas, helped you shoot, drank with you, and did blow with you just so you've had a great time. And I'm doing all of this while my leg hurt so bad. Did I make you feel bad for stabbing me? No, I just sucked it up and hoped tomorrow would be better." In March 2022, Christian sent another distressing text message saying, "Is love going to kill me? What if the knife sliced my lip and it wasn't just my beard? My cheek, my eye? What might happen next time? February was the worst month I've had so far. I got cheated on, I got called that word again, I got slapped in my stitches that have reopened multiple times and it's not healing fast enough. I've gotten kicked out, I'm just trying to get a couple of things off my chest before therapy." Over the past couple of years, Christian and Courtney had broken up and reconciled several times. But by March 2022, their relationship had reached a new breaking point. Despite only moving into their new property 2 months earlier, the police had already visited them twice, with another 12 calls made in the preceding months. Courtney's behavior had become increasingly threatening, and she frequently threatened to kick Christian out of the apartment whenever they argued. Although she had no legal authority to do this immediately, given that Christian had been living there full-time for months, Courtney still attempted to exert control in this way. In the last week of March 2022, Courtney asked her mother to stay with her for a week as she attempted to push Christian out of the apartment. During this time, Courtney officially broke up with Christian, leaving him to spend the next 6 days living on a small sofa in the apartment's foyer. On April 1st, 2022, Courtney's mother returned home, leaving Courtney and Christian to resolve their issues on their own. However, things quickly escalated. The following day, on April 2nd, the police were called to Courtney's apartment after the concierge witnessed a heated argument between the two. Interestingly, Courtney initially begged the concierge not to call the police. However, when officers arrived at the lobby, Courtney quickly changed her stance, acting as if she had wanted them there all along. Throughout the conversation, she interrupted nearly everyone, appeared emotionally unstable, and often contradicted what the concierge had already told the officers. Just 1 day later, according to Courtney's own words, she and Christian would get back together just hours after this altercation. But the very next day, police officers would be called to the apartment again, and this time, Courtney's actions would lead to irreversible consequences. On April 3rd, 2022, at 4:57 p.m., emergency services received a harrowing phone call.
3101. It's 130, it's a 130.
Ma'am, listen to me. You need to stop screaming on the line and give me the address.
3101.
I'm gonna die, I can't get my arm.
3101.
I can't feel my arm.
Ma'am.
So my boyfriend is dying of a stab.
Ma'am, what is the address?
What's up? What's the address?
3131.
3131 Northeast 7th Ave. Please, God, please. Come see my boyfriend.
Ma'am, is this a house apartment or a business?
I want you to 7452582.
Is this a house apartment or a business?
Baby, I'm so sorry. Baby.
Ma'am, can you hear me?
If you have a stab wound to his shoulder, can you sit down?
What do you mean he has a stab wound on his shoulder, ma'am?
Yes, he's bleeding from his shoulder.
Rescue, this is PD Physician Juliet. The caller, ma'am, hold on one moment. The caller advised the address is 3131 Northeast 7th Avenue, 31 Northeast 7th Avenue. The phone number is verified. The caller advised that her boyfriend has a stab wound.
Police officers and paramedics were dispatched to 3131 NE 7th Avenue, where they encountered a horrific scene. Christian Obumsali had suffered a stab wound to the chest and was bleeding profusely. When the officers arrived, they found Christian in Courtney's arms. As they inspected the property, they discovered multiple puddles of coagulated blood, indicating that he had been bleeding for an extended period before help arrived. Blood was also found on the kitchen island, in the master bedroom, the bathroom, and the back of the living room. After the stabbing, Courtney was ordered to sit on the floor outside her apartment, where witnesses noticed she was covered in blood and bizarrely kissing her dogs.
Do not move, sit down. We don't know what's going on. We don't know what happened.
I'm terrified
So
for him.
right now, don't worry. They're helping him. So just sit down. Don't move, okay?
Meanwhile, Christian was rushed to the hospital with urgency, as the amount of blood lost made it clear that time was running out to save his life. Since Courtney had already admitted to stabbing him, she was taken to a local police department for questioning. The interrogation lasted over 4 hours, during which Courtney appeared frazzled, emotional, and agitated. She rambled and struggled to provide coherent answers, attempting to describe the events that had unfolded. According to Courtney, she and Christian had supposedly made peace after their earlier altercation with the officers. The following morning began amicably, and to maintain the peace, Christian went out around 1:15 p.m. to take a walk and clear his head. Courtney claimed that she spent most of the afternoon on the phone with her mother, doing laundry and watching YouTube videos by Christina Randall. At 4:01 p.m., she went live on Instagram for half an hour, ending the session at 4:33 p.m., just as Christian returned home with a Subway sandwich. However, the situation quickly deteriorated as Courtney grew angry with him again. The issue stemmed from Christian no longer sharing his live location with her, which made Courtney suspicious and angry. Although Christian eventually reshared his location, he asked Courtney to do the same, but she resisted. According to Courtney's account, Christian then allegedly grabbed her by the neck and pushed her to the floor. She claimed that after calling her mother for support, Christian became even more agitated. Courtney claimed that when Christian allegedly started charging toward her, she grabbed a kitchen knife and screamed, "Don't come any closer." However, Christian supposedly did not stop, leading Courtney to claim that she threw the knife at him from a distance of about 10 feet. Her actions following the incident were highly questionable. Instead of immediately calling emergency services, Courtney chose to call her mother first. According to her account, she spent 13 minutes on the phone with her mother before finally dialing 911. During her interrogation, Courtney insisted that she hadn't had the chance to think about her story, a statement that raised further suspicion, as it implied she might be crafting a narrative rather than simply telling the truth. With great sadness, it was revealed just 2 hours after Courtney's interview that Toby did not survive. He tragically passed away from his injury shortly after 5 p.m., shortly after arriving at the hospital.
We have to inform you that Christian did not make it. Okay. Unfortunately, the doctors did what they could. And
Christian is dead.
Yes.
Oh my God.
Even in this devastating moment, the horror and disbelief in Courtney's voice was palpable. The sudden death of Christian left his friends and family reeling, as no one anticipated such a violent end of their young and gentle loved one. The revelation that Courtney was involved raised many questions and concerns.
I do believe she is the killer. and she does need to be arrested.
Following Christian's death, Courtney voluntarily admitted herself to a psychiatric ward under Florida's Baker Act for an emergency mental health evaluation. Remarkably, she was released just 2 days later. Investigators quickly concluded that the incident was a domestic dispute and that Courtney acted in self-defense, allowing her to go free. This decision shocked and devastated Christian's family, especially given that detectives reached their conclusion within 24 hours of the scene. The case sparked a heated debate about privilege, particularly given Courtney's status as a young, attractive white woman. Many believed she was not the victim, but rather the aggressor. Despite this, Courtney quickly returned to her old habits, including drinking with her father. Courtney's lawyer managed to persuade the police that her actions were an act of self-defense, leading to her release without further questioning. However, Christian's family and friends were determined to seek justice. They promptly hired a lawyer who viewed the tumultuous relationship from a different perspective. Armed with evidence, they were confident Christian was the true victim, though presenting their case would take time. While Christian's family set up a GoFundMe to cover his funeral expenses, Courtney was spending over $1 million in Texas. She relocated to Miami to be near her family, and just 2 months after Christian's death, purchased a $1.4 million home in Texas. Additionally, she transferred $1.2 million to her father's bank account for safeguarding. The death of Christian deeply affected Courtney, exacerbating her already problematic drinking. Her substance abuse worsened, leading to a stay in a Hawaiian rehab center for several weeks to address her addiction and PTSD. On August 10, 2022, Courtney was arrested on charges of second-degree murder. The prosecution delayed the arrest to ensure they had sufficient evidence.
That Courtney Clenney, who was over 4,700 miles away from Miami, will be able to stand before a judge here in Miami and face these charges.
The state attorney's office compiled a substantial amount of incriminating evidence, including elevator footage of Courtney attacking Christian, recordings, and over 12,000 text messages between them. Additionally, her 2021 domestic battery charge against Christian in Las Vegas and previous reports of her abusive behavior were uncovered. It was also revealed that she had attempted to stab a former partner and had broken bodybuilder Sean Roden's jaw in February 2017. Roden had kept this incident quiet as he was involved with Courtney while cheating on his wife. Neutral friends of Courtney and Christian described Courtney as the aggressor in their relationship, with Christian often playing the peacemaker. The most compelling evidence against Courtney comes from the medical examiner's report, which determined that Christian's injury could not have been caused by a knife thrown from the distance Courtney claimed.
I'm not an expert in knife throwing. If the person who supposedly did this is an expert knife thrower, and the knife is the type of knife that you can throw, I guess that could have happened.
Did you receive any information that the defendant was a knife thrower?
No.
So based on that fact that you did not receive that information, would it support that?
No.
The 8-centimeter deep wound suggested a close-range, intentional stab inflicted with a downward thrust that severed Christian's subclavian artery. Notably, this wound was just inches above a tattoo of Courtney's name on his chest.
Could you please explain those to the court?
The cause of death was stab wound of right subclavian artery. The manner of death was homicide.
I have no further questions.
Courtney's self-defense claim that Christian grabbed her by the neck and threw her to the floor was undermined by the lack of visible injuries on her during and after her police interview. Additionally, secret recordings made by Christian before his death revealed Courtney becoming angry and racially abusing him for speaking to another woman.
Courtney, I was on a bike ride and she passed me and I said, hi, you and Courtney are having a live chat. My bad, I forgot to tell you that. That doesn't make you to act and call me a You're a Yes, thank you. Coming from thank you.
I want you to get away from me!
Following Courtney's arrest, her trial has become one of the most highly anticipated legal proceedings in recent history. Her defense team initially sought to block the release of trial evidence to the public and to exclude secretly recorded evidence by Toby, but both motions were denied by the judge. Additionally, Courtney's defense requested her release on bond while awaiting trial. This request was denied due to concerns about her involvement in the crime and her significant financial resources, which posed a potential flight risk. Consequently, Courtney was ordered to remain in detention until her trial. In Florida, a conviction for second-degree murder carries a potential life sentence with a minimum term of 16 years and 9 months. As of February 2024, 27-year-old Courtney Clenney faces charges of second-degree murder with a weapon and interception of wire or electronic communication. She has pleaded not guilty, and her trial is ongoing. During a March 2024 motion hearing, her attorney contended that she acted in self-defense and lacked intent or premeditation in Toby's death. From the glitz and glamour of social media stardom to the harsh reality of a murder charge, Courtney's story forces us to confront uncomfortable truths about fame, domestic violence, and the personas we present to the world. What do you think? Self-defense or murder? Let us know in the comments. If you're craving more thrilling stories and unexpected twists, hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell. Please like and subscribe. It really helps us to bring you more stories like this. See you on the next one.